Imagine building a legacy so legendary, so flawless, that you are widely considered one of the greatest football geniuses to ever walk the earth. You've won the World Cup, the Euros, the Champions League, and the Ballon d'Or. Now, it's the year 2006. You are playing in the World Cup Final. It is the absolute last match of your professional career. The entire world is watching, waiting to see you lift the trophy and ride off into the ultimate sunset. And then, with just 10 minutes left on the clock, you completely lose your mind. You turn around, drive your forehead violently into an opponent's chest, and get red-carded on the biggest stage in human history. This is the story of Zinedine Zidane's infamous headbutt in the 2006 World Cup Final. A moment of pure madness that shocked billions of people, ruined a fairy tale ending, and gave the world the most dramatic retirement in sporting history. To understand why this moment felt so tragic, you have to understand what Zinedine Zidane meant to football, and specifically to France, in 2006. Zidane wasn't just a captain, he was a national icon. Back in 1998, he scored 2 goals in the final to bring France their very first World Cup trophy. He was a god in his home country. But by 2006, Zidane was 34 years old. His body was tired. Before the tournament even started, he announced to the world, "This is it. After the World Cup, I am retiring forever." Early on, it looked like a sad ending was on the cards. France barely squeaked through the group stage. They looked old, sluggish, and uninspired. But then, the knockout round started, and Zidane turned back the clock. He put on absolute masterclasses against Spain, a legendary Brazil squad, and Portugal. Single-handedly, the aging maestro dragged a doubting French nation all the way to the final in Berlin. The script was written. It was supposed to be his crowning glory. Their opponents? A ruthless, defensively brick-walled Italian side. Just 7 minutes into the match, France won a penalty. Up stepped Zinedine Zidane. The pressure was suffocating, but Zidane didn't just kick it. He chose to execute a panenka. He chipped the ball delicately into the air. It hit the underside of the crossbar and bounced just over the line. It was an act of pure, arrogant genius. France was up 1-0, but Italy responded quickly. Just 12 minutes later, a towering Italian defender scored a powerful header off a corner kick to tie the game at 1-1. That defender's name? Marco Materazzi. Remember that name, because he and Zidane were now locked in a cosmic wrestling match that would define both of their lives. The rest of the match was a grueling, exhausting war. 90 minutes passed, and the score remained tied. The game pushed into extra time. The players were running on fumes, their muscles cramping under the intense Berlin heat. In the 103rd minute, Zidane nearly broke the deadlock again with a powerful header, but Italian goalkeeper Gianluigi Buffon made a miraculous, fingertip save. You could feel the tension breaking. Everyone was waiting for the penalty shootout. But in the 110th minute, the universe broke instead. The ball was cleared out of the Italian penalty box. As the play moved down the field, Zidane and Materazzi were jogging back toward the center circle. Materazzi was tightly marking Zidane, lightly tugging on his jersey. Zidane brushed him off, walked ahead, and mockingly said to the Italian, "If you want my shirt so badly, I'll give it to you after the game." It was classic trash talk. Zidane kept walking forward, his back turned to Materazzi. But Materazzi shouted a reply. Suddenly, Zidane stopped dead in his tracks. He didn't yell back. He didn't wave his arms. He slowly turned around, walked calmly back toward Materazzi, stared him dead in the eyes, lowered his head, and launched his forehead violently into Materazzi's chest. The impact was massive. Materazzi collapsed to the grass like he'd been hit by a sledgehammer. The stadium fell into absolute confusion. The ball was on the other side of the pitch, so the referee, Horacio Elizondo, hadn't seen a thing. Millions of fans watching at home on TV were staring at an Italian defender randomly lying on the ground, clutching his chest. For a moment, it looked like Zidane might get away with it. But the English fourth official, Luis Medina Cantalejo, had seen the whole thing from the sidelines. He frantically screamed into his earpiece to the referee, "Zidane headbutted him. You have to see it, it was terrible." The referee jogged over, blew his whistle, and pulled a bright red card out of his pocket. The stadium erupted into a mix of boos, gasps, and stunned silence. Zidane didn't argue. He didn't protest. He silently unwrapped the captain's armband, handed it to a teammate, and began the long, lonely walk down the tunnel. As he walked off the pitch for the final time in his life, the television cameras caught a haunting, iconic image. Zidane walking right past the Golden World Cup trophy, his head bowed, refusing to look at it. Without their captain and best penalty taker, France looked completely deflated. The match went to a penalty shootout, and Italy was flawless, winning 5-3 to lift the World Cup. The fairy tale was dead. For days, the entire world asked one question. What did Materazzi say to make a football god snap like that? Rumors flew everywhere. Some newspapers claimed Materazzi called him a terrorist. Others claimed he insulted Zidane's mother. Eventually, the truth came out. Materazzi hadn't insulted his mother. He had insulted Zidane's sister. Zidane later explained that his mother was incredibly sick in the hospital that very day, and hearing those vile words threw him into a blind, protective rage. He stated, "I am a man, and some words are harder to hear than actions. I would rather die than apologize to him." To this day, Zinedine Zidane's headbutt remains one of the most debated moments in football heritage. To some, it was a selfish act of violence that cost his country a World Cup. To others, it proved that despite his godlike talent, Zidane was human. He was a proud man from the tough streets of Marseille who refused to let his family be insulted, even if it cost him the ultimate prize. So what's your take? Does this moment of madness stain Zidane's legendary career, or does it just make his story even more fascinating? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button for more epic World Cup history in Stickman style, and we'll see you next time at the stadium.